should be scared. If you like what you hear from our next author, you can find her work in multiple magazines. You can also find it in a chapbook called Embark that was released by Toad Lily Press. Emily May Stokes was recently nominated for a Pushcart Prize and has work forthcoming in Gathered, an anthology of contemporary Quaker poets from Sundress Publications. She's a passionate artist. She brings that energy everywhere she goes, and I love the connections between the people in her work. I'm going to read a section, hopefully she doesn't read it, from one of her poems. This is just one of my favorites. I think it's right. Yeah. This is the section 3. She's tilting whiskey from a milk glass on the steps of Paradise Lanes. She says Lace is desperate, and he eyes the passing legs, decides a promise of any kind would smell sour. He turns a quarter across all 4 knuckles, spits into the brown hedge, and she is there, with blue fingers pinching the hem of that skirt, and he wants so badly to love her. I appreciate Emily as a friend and a writer because she keeps me in check when it comes to the workshop and when it comes to social life. If I'm not working hard enough, she lets me know. And if I'm not enjoying life enough, she also lets me know. I'm proud to introduce her, so please help me in welcoming Emily May Stokes.
That was very nice. Thank you, Jeffrey. I was a little nervous for a second there. I was antagonizing him last night, and he said he would get me back, so he didn't. Okay. I'm just going to go right into it. This is called My Fortune Cookie Urges Life is Not a Struggle. It's the kind of optimism that pushes whole nations forward, greased over encouragements accruing value like a pair of weathered jeans. In America, the blankets fold themselves. Each figure on the carousel comes carved by different hands to lift a child towards the high notes of church bells in the country I left for half cities armored in rosebuds, where dirt raises privileged beds for old socks and the daily news. I tuck my demons in beside me, dress them up like the girls. Most mornings I'm the architect, others I'm the gray glove tossed off. Either way, Eclipse refuses to take the sun whole and bends to horns or halo, half bowl, moon imposter, palomino dancer, dark harnessed bear of night, prance not into oblivion. We've found a new jive for that. Stand up and sing. This is called Harvest Moon. Ask the dishes in the sink about love or capital investments. It's Harvest Moon, and I only know the way out. Have watched the gods translate Dali's cannibalismo into binary code for love me tender, love me true. I have done the wrong things consistently and without remorse. Let's talk about you. Or how we might negotiate our contract with gravity, return the pants too small, glue the clipped vase of red mums, forget the bounty coming over so many dark illegal oceans. I have begged the key ring for my own history, let the window close in a hot room. Thou God of bounty, grant me pardon. I have wished ill upon the paycheck that reaches for my body in the night. This is called Dinner Time Without You. I eat 3 pieces of toast, one after the other, and hold the contract over the gas stove. The faucet's falsetto blesses hot water, ashes, and half a signature. When the phone rings, I don't answer. You're still out and victory doesn't call home, so I open all the windows, even the last one, and watch the storm lick itself like a sore kitten. The rumble starts low, and somewhere a baby is born into the terror of a shaking wind. Who's to say which side I'm on anyways? When the fan is unplugged and we rise every day to a dropped stitch on the horizon. I imagine you arranging books to thank midnight with your eyes closed, where the stairs are always taller going up, a little crease in the goodbye handshake. Before dawn, I lay my thumb down across your favorite page. Sometimes I think there's no better way. This is a yoga poem. It's about being in a yoga studio, which is something everyone should do, by the way. It's called In the Studio of Heaven, Attempting the Pose for Nobility. Dear sweet flutes of saving that spill across the floorboards to rescue, it is you I prayed to on those sleepless nights. Before lotus, star tulip, and diamond, before the crown was known to govern, and before I knew where the 7 chakras waited, I looked to the Pleiades arranged like pearls in the shadow of a man shooting east, a glowing suggestion of the arrow Orion never casts, whose guiding quill I can't help but search for in the brush where the falsehoods of flight have not yet rooted like we have, from heart to throat to brow. It's called Postcards from the Glass Forest, and this makes direct reference to a Jim Harrison poem called Barking, which is amazing, and he just has this very pared down, direct language. And sort of the sum of the parts is always equal to more than the sum of the parts. There's a larger thing happening. So he's great. Postcards from the Glass Forest. In my dream, I lecture the trees. I show the one about the birds coming up from Mexico and the dog on the chain. The audience says, it's too easy. It's the year of the horse, and I've drawn you the glass bottle on my shelf to say that you are not a vessel, and I am not a vessel. In the vision, my horse is by the water unbridled before the storm, which I have also drawn on this post-it note, so I'll remember. Nothing is easy on the black ocean. The forest still reflects the stars. I hear even in Mexico there are dark trees. This will be my second to last poem. It's called Prayers for Charlie. There are children in my head running through the attics of mercy. A window opens over the street where we stood, dressed like tattered princes and madames, a half-blown stranger on the stoop, chanting himself into the complexity of a glass Sumerian forest, whose madness was your madness, whose madness taught me no clear God can separate the sinners and the saviors, that artistry is a mercy which makes feasible the notion of angels purring beneath her nervous fingers, grants the hostess a fine ear for the ghosts cheering in the fire escape. There are always too many characters. Please forgive me. All I want to say is that I heard it when you wished so hard. This is my last poem, and this is about the experience, the very odd experience, of reading a book of poems and finding that the poet has embodied the voice of someone who has passed, who you happen to know personally. She's a great poet. I love her work, so I'm in no way intending this as an attack, but it might sound like it a little bit. So that's about that experience. Okay, it's called Life on Earth. I saw her name on the intergalactic word stage and flipped the book over. Life on Mars means inability to breathe, means I can't undo her death the way I hollow anger to fill with twigs, melt the plastic of the poet who put herself inside Johanna's body and spoke with her mouth, forgave with her fingers and her hair, whistled from her 9 bullet holes the song of absolution. Stranger who never knew how beautiful in person, who didn't feel the hot anger of a woman in red, planting her foot in our routine to whatever Lola wants. When she'd been wronged, she spoke with the careful artillery of intellect, lit our high school sidewalks with conviction. Pride opened the lid of contraction. I scraped my bones of those lines. Turn Pulitzer's seal into glaring river stone, tossed far across night's horrible river, search my bedroom for the color of our dresses that spring. for the way we practiced looking over our shoulders in the old studio. All winter she enunciated as we laced our black leather shoes, but I, for one, refuse to improvise the voices of the dead. I resolve to speak crystal while I can, with my own mind's lip and barrel. I seal each sound like a gospel bound for Mars. Thanks, guys.